Hello and welcome to the Certified Ethical Hacker Study Guide. In this video, we will discuss Chapter 10.2, Using Scripting Languages. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Now, let's crash into the first topic. Installing Internet Information Services. To host a website, you need to install IIS on your Windows computer. Although IIS is deployed on a server in a production environment, pre-production web development and testing can be done on workstations. iOS 10 is available in Windows 10. Because IIS isn't installed by default in this activity, you install it and use your web browser to check that it was installed correctly. This activity assumes you have never installed iOS on the PC you are using and are installing on a Windows 10 PC. Open Control Panel and then click Programs. In the Programs and Features section, click Turn Windows Features on or off to open the Windows Features dialog box. If the User Account Control UAC message box opens, click Continue. Click the Internet Information Services checkbox and then click the plus symbol to expand the iOS options. Click the World Wide Web Services checkbox. Ensure that the Application Development Features, Common HTTP Features, and Security boxes are checked under World Wide Web Services. Under Application Development Features, make sure all ASP and ASP.NET options are selected. Click Web Management Tools and ensure that iOS Management Console and iOS Scripts and Tools are selected under Web Management Tools. Click OK to install iOS. When you see the Windows completed the requested changes message, click Close. To check that iOS has been installed, click Start, type inetmgr, and press Enter to open the iOS Manager. Click Help on the menu bar, and then click About Internet Information Services. What version of iOS is installed on your computer? Start a web browser, type the URL, and then press Enter to go to the IIS Welcome page. A visitor to your website would see an IIS Welcome message because you haven't created a default HTML web page yet. However, clicking the graphic directs you to Microsoft's official iOS website, where you can learn more about IIS. When you're finished, close the browser window. Now let's jump into the next topic, right after this short break. Next, you need to create a folder on your web server to hold any HTML pages you create. When IIS is installed, a new folder called initpub is created on the C drive. Open File Explorer. Under the C drive, substitute the correct drive letter if your installation is different. Click to expand the initpub folder and then open the www-root folder. Right-click the www-root folder, point to New, and then click Folder. For the folder name, type your first name, substituting your first name, and then press Enter. Close any open windows and leave Windows running for the next activity. To keep attackers from knowing the directory structure you create on an IIS web server, creating a virtual directory is recommended so that the path a user sees on the web browser isn't the actual path on the web server. A virtual directory is a pointer to the physical directory. The simpler structure that a virtual directory offers is often easier for users to memorize and navigate. Using this design strategy also enhances security because it helps hide the actual directory structure from attackers. Now let's skate on into the next topic, right after this short break. Using scripting languages. Web pages can be developed with several scripting languages such as VB Script and JavaScript. You won't learn how to be a web developer by reviewing the scripting languages covered in this module, but you should be able to recognize when one is being used because many security testing tools are written with scripting languages. Most macro viruses and all worms that take advantage of cross-site scripting vulnerabilities, discussed later in the module, are based on a scripting language. Now let's ride on into the next topic, right after this short break. PHP Hypertext Processor. Similar to ASP and ASP.NET, PHP Hypertext Processor, or PHP, enables web developers to create dynamic web pages. PHP, an open-source server-side scripting language, is embedded in an HTML web page by using the PHP tags. Because PHP web pages run on the server, users can't view the source code in their web browsers. PHP was originally used mainly on Unix systems, but it's used more widely now on many platforms including Macintosh and Windows. The following excerpt is a code example for a static PHP web page showing the use of PHP tags. Bolded lines in these code examples show how different scripting languages are indicated. This page would need to be created on your web server as a PHP file, similar to the ASP.NET webpage you created in Activity 10.3. After you have identified that a web server is using PHP, you should use the methods you have learned in this course to investigate further for specific vulnerabilities. For example, several legacy versions of PHP running on Linux can be exploited because of a line in the php.ini file. The line file _uploads =sign on permits file uploads. However, this setting might allow a remote attacker to run arbitrary code with elevated privileges. The best solution is to upgrade to the latest version of PHP, but if that's not possible, change the line to file _uploads =sign-off. You should also be familiar with LAMP, which stands for Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP, because it's a collection of open-source software used for many sophisticated high-traffic web applications. LAMP is known as a solution stack because it stacks several programs into one integrated web application solution. For more information, do an internet search on the term LAMP combined with the Linux version you're using, such as Ubuntu or Fedora. The Windows version of this stack is called WOMP. Now let's look into the next topic, right after this short break. Cold Fusion. Cold Fusion is another server-side scripting language for developing dynamic web pages. Created by Alaire Corporation, it's now owned by Adobe Systems, Inc. Cold Fusion integrates web browser, web server, and database technologies. It uses proprietary tags written in Cold Fusion markup language, CFML. Web applications written in CFML can contain other client-side technologies such as HTML and JavaScript. The following code is an example of HTML with a CFML tag that redirects the user to a web page. All CFML tags begin with the letters CF. For example, the column tag is. As with the PHP example, security testers should become familiar with vulnerabilities associated with a web server using Cold Fusion. A quick search of the Adobe security page can narrow your research time, allowing you to focus on the vulnerabilities that affect your organization. A popular scripting language for creating dynamic web pages, JavaScript also has the power of a programming language. In JavaScript, you can branch, loop, and test, the BLT you learned earlier, and create functions and procedures in HTML web pages. The following code is a simple HTML snippet with JavaScript code added. This code is more complex than the previous examples, but it shows you how scripting languages can include functions and alerts. The third line specifies that JavaScript is the language being used. Next, the chastise_user function is defined. This function simply displays an alert message. The getElementById function is a method, a sequence of statements that perform a routine or task defined by the World Wide Web Consortium, W3C, Document Object Model, DOM. Basically, it returns an object, in this case, a command button you click. JavaScript is widely used, and a variety of vulnerabilities have been exploited in older web browsers. Security testers and administrators should inspect every computer for unpatched or outdated browser versions and keep up with vulnerabilities. For example, Cybersecurity Alert AA21076A, TrickBot malware, describes the TrickBot Trojan. TrickBot uses malicious JavaScript to communicate to the malicious actor's command and control, C2 server, to download malware onto the victim's system. If you find this video useful, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. To see more videos like this, please click in the rectangle in the middle of your screen. To see other videos from this channel, please click the circle on the bottom right. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.